Hi everybody, it's Erin from Waiting Moose, and I am visiting you today from the Dominican Republic. This is the view from my room. It's the marina view. Isn't it nice and relaxing? It's actually been really nice because we're on the non-windy side of the resort, and it's really windy down here right now. So I did promise you that I would tell you about the books I brought on vacation, and here they are. I brought a lot. I probably shouldn't have. I'm a little nuts. So I'm going to quickly go through these and then I'll explain what that piece of paper is, because that's another little project I'm working on. So first, I actually finished a book. It's further down in the stack, so we won't get to that one yet. I have A Wicked Fix by Sarah Graves. I'm about halfway through this one. I should finish it today. It's for a cozy mystery bingo challenge, and it's okay, but it's not great. I'm kind of bummed about that. It's not as good as I thought it would be. Next, I have Agatha Christie, The Adventure of the Christmas Pudding. It's actually a short story collection. Haha, the Christie collection, it says right there on the top. It's actually a short story collection, and it has stories from her main characters. So there's a Hercule Poirot, I believe there's a Miss Marple, and it's a Christmas themed book, so I'm kind of excited about that. Oh, I was going to talk about, this was one of my read a chapter books, and I had 9 of them, I think. 8 or 9 read a chapter books that I did. And I ended up wanting to take them all. Because that's how it goes. My husband said, no, you get to take 2. I brought 3, because that's how I roll. So, Dominican Republic. Sorry. I brought this one because it was Christmas themed, and it is 2 weeks before Christmas, even though it doesn't look like it out there, but that is one of the books that I've added from my read a chapter. Cushiel's Dart by Jacqueline Carey, which is 900 pages of high fantasy. So I haven't started it yet because it seems like it's going to be a little deep to dig into, and I'm still a little scattered from the flight. We did the red-eye flight, which took us from Alberta to Toronto, and then we had to switch planes in Toronto and fly down here to the Dominican. So it was like 11 or 12 hours of flying time, and I don't know if I would do that again. That was pretty bad, especially since I couldn't sleep on the red eye at all. I was stuck in a middle seat and super uncomfortable. Next book is Nocturnal Animals by Austin Wright. I picked this up at Walmart actually right before we came, and mainly because the movie trailer looks so interesting. But I don't know if I can watch it, so I think I'm going to read the book. This is What the Lady Wants by Jennifer Cruzy. It was one of the books in my Read a Chapter selection, and Jennifer Cruzy just writes a good book. They're light, they're fluffy, they're perfect for vacation, and they're easy to read when you've got lots of distractions, like when you're at a resort. So that worked out perfectly for me. That was actually what I read yesterday. I was having trouble focusing on Wicked Fix and another book that I was trying to read, so I switched to this one and I got it done in a day. That's how light and fluffy and perfect it is. So as soon as I read the first chapter, I knew it was vacation read material. Another Walmart find, like 2 days before our trip, I found Stephen King's The Gunslinger. My husband's a huge fan of this series. I've got friends that are fans of this series, so I'm looking forward to reading it. I have a couple of the later books in the series on my shelf at home, so I'm prepared if I like it. I've got more reading there. Wolfhound Sentry by Peter Higgins. I wish I'd done this as part of my Read a Chapter challenge, because turns out it's more horror. Yeah, I know, if I would have read the cover right here, I would have known that it was violent and rather gory. I wasn't expecting quite the level of gore that's in this book. So it's not really vacation reading, and I'm not sure if it's something, it's not quite what I was expecting. For some reason I thought it was set in the future, and it's not, or it doesn't seem to be, and I'm really having trouble sinking into the narrative and feeling like I'm there, because I'm just disconnected right now. I might try reading it again in the future. I got a little way into it, right? About 43 pages in, and it just isn't working for me. My last try a chapter book, I'll stand this up, but it might knock everything over. There we go. My last try a chapter book was Before I Go to Sleep. It came down to between this one and Those Girls by Chevy Stevens. I went with S.J. Watson's because they both sounded fantastic, so it really came down to eeny, meeny, miny, mo. And this one won. Yeah, it just sounds like really good thriller material, which is odd for a vacation. But I'm gonna go with it, and I'm really looking forward to getting into it. But again, I don't know if I'd be able to sink into it right away. So I'm reading some of the lighter stuff, and I will get to that probably today or tomorrow. And this, The Last Human by Doug Naylor, is a Red Dwarf novel, and I'm missing a couple books. Oh, my husband's reading it. Okay, The Last Human, which is by Doug Naylor. It's a Red Dwarf book, and I don't really know much other than that, other than it's sci-fi. And he picked it up at our library sale, so he brought it down here to read, and I thought, well, if he doesn't read it, I might. And the other book that I have is The Earthman's Burden, and I can't remember who it's by, but I'm definitely looking forward to reading it. It's just a light, fluffy sci-fi fiction about a planet inhabited by bears, but other than that, it's very much like Earth. So that's my vacation reading. I suspect I won't get to all of it because there's a lot there. So the next thing I have is my little project that I've been working on. Here it is. So you can see those are book titles, and what I did was I went into Goodreads. So I have about 3,000. I had about 3,000 books on Goodreads, and they were in my to-read list. Sorry, people, getting distracted by the beautiful, beautiful scenery. Anyway, I had these books on to-reads. I had 3,200, 3,300 books in my to-be-read list, and I realized I would never get through all of those. And it was causing me to feel like I shouldn't read things that weren't on my to-read list. I'll give you a better view here, which is great, but at the same time, there's a lot of new books coming out that I wasn't reading, or new things I was finding at thrift shops and whatnot that I wasn't reading. So I decided it was time to whittle down that to-be-read list a bit, because obviously I won't get to all of them, and I'd like to have a little bit more of a manageable list. So I've started working on that, as well as my plan for 2017. So here's what I have. I started going through. Anything with a star beside it goes on my to-read list. Now these are Agatha Christie's. I love her, so those are definitely going on there. Anything with a check mark or a highlight is a 2017 planned read. And I went, I'll get back to how I got this list. I went into Goodreads, and you can export your reading list from Goodreads. And I did. And then I go and I start playing with it. So I add year added and year read so that I can do some statistics, I guess, on how many books I read, and when I added them to my TBR, just to see, you know, if I'm reading mostly books that I've added recently, then maybe it's time to reconsider some of the older books. And then I went through and I filtered on all of my TBRs, and I added columns that I cared about, which are things like an author, publisher, pages, average rating, and year added. I screwed up the year added, so that's actually wrong for all of these. Don't even ask. I added it after I did some sorting here. But, so this is sliding off my tiny little table. So this is my TBR list. I went through, and I think I started out with like 36 pages, so to print them double-sided, it was gonna be 18 pieces of paper, and I went, nope. So I did some searching, I did a whole bunch of, you know, Excel magic, and I went in and deleted books that I didn't think I'd either be able to find or didn't think I'd want to read at the end of the day. And I deleted those from my TBR, and deleting them from my TBR doesn't mean I won't read them. Doesn't mean I won't read them, but it does mean that I will not actively search them out. So now I'm down to, I think it was 32 pages, so 16 pieces of paper that I printed double-sided, and I'm gonna have to cut this video relatively short because my phone's overheating in the heat. But basically, I'm gonna go through, and I've already done it. I've got some scratched out. Those are books that I've decided I'm not gonna actually search for, but if I come across them and I feel like reading them at the time, I will get rid of them. And I'm just trying to whittle down my TBR to something under 1,000 books, which is going to be a bit of a stretch for me, but I'm working on that. So yeah, that's my video for you from the Dominican Republic, and I'm having fun, but holy crap, it's hot and humid here, and I'm just not used to that as a Canadian. So anyway, I'm going to sign off now. Have a great day, everyone. Actually, here, I'll show you my lovely, lovely, lovely naturally curly hair and my sunburn. Bye. So there you go. That's why I'm not on camera today. I will have another video for you soon. Happy Vlogmas, and have a great day.